Bonsoir. 2021, we made it. Jesus Christ, man. I thought it was like going to be COVID for life. We're going to be locked the fuck up. You know what I mean? But here we are. Godzilla Podcast, Season 2. Yes, Episode 1. I'm trying to calculate myself. You got it? Yeah. Ricky. Man, first off, we like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land and pay respects to elders past, present, and future. Blessed to be here. Always like to kick it off as well with my new slogan, like Superman's dope as fuck to be sober. So, make sure you stick to that if you can. Shout out to Open Source Molotov, the team, Ricky Eski, who couldn't be here tonight. He fucking wished he could be. So, we think of you. And man, Kid Complete on the beat for tonight as well. Shout out to Colored Noise, who actually gave me something else as well that we're definitely going to be using through the season. But, man, thank you so much. We've got the man. You know what? I actually hate to say this, bro, because I'm a massive fan of you, bro. But Kobie Dee in the place to be. What's going on? Oh, mate. What's going on with you? Oh, what's going on with me? What's going on with you?
Nah, nothing much, bro. Nothing much. It's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Man, I wanted you to get in last year, but I think it's good to have you this year. You know what I mean? Like just in terms of last year was funny for everyone.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Live, been able to, perform live and all that sort of stuff as well. You know what I mean? Not everyone was necessarily working heaps on music. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I've only just started getting back in the studio this year.
Yeah, 100%. Well, the last one you had was Role Models? What was your last track
Role
you
Models,
dropped?
and then there was the Triple J one, the Far Far Away from My Country.
Oh yeah. True that. Hectic, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so dope to have you in, man. And I have to say, straight off the bat, bro, I have no shame in telling people that there's people that you just hope kill it. And for me, you're my guy. You're the guy that I'm fucking banging for. Fuck this cunt, fuck. He's got to do it. I'll be telling people oh, you heard of Kobie Dee? Nah, fuck. Let me show you some Kobie Dee. You know what I mean? So I'm not trying to blow smoke or anything too hectic. But man, first of all, I like to try and ask things, from a bit of a punter's perspective. People that don't know you, you know what I mean? The whole podcast was really about trying to. I don't want to say it people are ignorant, but try to educate people that maybe aren't as much in the scene. We all know one another because we're all in the scene and all that, but get people to sort of probably know a bit more about you and, where you're from. So, bro, talk to me. Where'd you grow up and, what sort of area you're repping and,
So I grew up in Maroubra, South Maroubra, a little place called Lexo. It's if you're from Maroubra, if you're from the area, you know what Lexo is. It's
true that.
It's sort of the housing commission side in Maroubra. And when I was younger, it was a pretty rough place. It was known for a lot of drugs, alcohol, violence, and crime and shit like that. But growing up now, it's a lot more quiet, and so it's a nice place. And yeah, I've always stuck around. I've always lived around the Maroubra area. Through my teenage years, I ended up moving up to Duffy's Corner, which is literally just 5 minutes out of from Lexa.
You're like, fuck, guys, I'm moving out, man. I'm getting out of the city. 5 minutes later, I made it.
Yeah, no, but that's where I spent my younger days, and now I'm living in the city. So yeah, bit of a change.
How you liking the change?
It's good. It's mad. I do miss being in the area. I've got my license now. I've got my P's now, so that's changed a lot. So I'm still always in the area.
What is it about the area, right? So when you're in your area, you know that it's there's better places to live, but you still want to live in the area.
I always.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. I grew up thinking fuck this. I'm moving out the area. I'm getting out, and then I don't know. Something always just brings you back. I don't know. It's the familiarity or whatever the fuck the word is, but I just feel, I don't know. I hate moving to new places and having to make new friends and having to meet new people and shit. But at the same time, I like staying inside and being to myself.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's something about Maroubra, something about the area that just keeps bringing me back.
Bro, listen, it's closer to the water than where I grew up, so I wouldn't fucking move if I was you either, bro. So I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
And as a younger dude, like, what were you really into? Because, you know, it wasn't always like rap when we were younger, you know what I mean? Like, I know you boxed and stuff like that. What sort of sports were you playing? All that sort of stuff. What were you doing coming up?
When I was young, I was heaps sporty. Like, I was doing, I played league. I was playing for Lapa.
Yeah.
I played for heaps of different teams, actually, when I was younger. But I mostly played for Lapa. I ended up playing rugby union for a bit. I was doing nippers. I was fucking doing karate.
What an athlete! What an athlete guy!
I was pretty fit as a kid, and then fucking once I found the fucking bongs and like all that shit, I was like,
Once I found the bongs,
I was like, why do this shit when I can do this shit? And like my sporting career went out the window. And
well, bro, if smoking bongs was a sport, you think you'd be a competitor?
Oh, 100%. I'd still be somewhere up there. Nah, but fucking.
I'm pretty sure these days, like with the acceptance of weed, you reckon there's a weed Olympics?
Yeah, 100%.
Is there a weed Olympics?
There would be.
Fuck, Nimbin, bro, they can't get their act together. I'm talking about like Olympics, like you go in, you get tracksuits with your fucking country or your area, like on there. Fuck, we should look at that. Why don't we start a weed Olympics? I don't give a like me personally. I'm not smoking. I think it'll just be hilarious to like associate athleticism with weed smoking. Sorry, but you're an inspiration, Kobie Dee.
Just give me credit when credit's due. Once you start this shit up,
you know, yeah, bro, we'll go partners. And you know what? The thing is, I'm not gonna push becoming a bong rat on anyone, right? You have to hold yourself with the utmost professionalism, you know? So if there's not a technique to it, we don't want to hear about it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, you guys in? All right, so this is the proof that it's intellectual property right now. It's us, all right? All right, bet. All right, hectic. That's mad, man. So it's funny. Well, it's not mad, but it's funny that, you know, you picked up the weed and stuff like that, and that would have led to other shit as well. How do you feel about that looking back? Like, I mean, like, not that it's too much of a drag, because we'll talk about later, you know, like fucking your artistry as far as the creative goes, but, you know, looking back on that, you know, do you feel as though there was few holes in the system, you know, for youngins to get into that sort of shit?
Yeah, I guess for me, it was always sort of, growing up in my area, everyone played footy. Like, it was, like, to me, that was, like, that was the only way a lot of people made it out. Like, because there's a lot of the best footy players went to the same school that I went to, like Fox at Okai came, James Roberts, Dylan Walker, like, heaps of them came to my school, and it was like, yeah, I just seeing all them like make it in the NRL and all that stuff. It just always seemed like everyone was making footy or something like that. And for me, I wasn't the biggest fan of footy. Like, I wouldn't watch footy on the weekends. I wouldn't do none of that stuff. So then, I guess because I didn't follow that sort of stuff, and seeing all the other stuff in the community that sort of excited me in a different way, stuff that I actually like was sort of interested in. Yeah. I think I sort of went down that direction, because I felt like there was only those two ways. Like, you either make it in sport or you do the other shit that everyone else is doing.
Yeah, straight up, man. And so you were sort of one of those kids, more like you know, you're bored, and so like, all right, cool. Well, if people are going to be playing footy, I'm going to be playing footy. But footy didn't necessarily interest you. It was just that, well, I'll chuck a footy around because I'm bored. You know what I mean? But then as soon as the bong's here.
Well, it was my mum, really. My mum was like, you're fucking playing sport. Like, my mum was like, because she knew if I'm not playing sport, I'm out doing fucking...
Straight up.
Running the streets or some shit like that. So my mum always sort of wanted to keep me doing some sort of sport.
Yeah,
so,
true.
Like, that's why I did the karate and nippers and stuff. I was always experimenting with, like if I didn't like this, then I'd try something else. But my mum just wanted me to stay with the sports. Yeah, like it just wasn't really my thing. I was good at sports. Yeah. Like when I was doing karate, I was fucking excelling in that and shit. And but yeah, once I started smoking pot and shit, it all just stopped. And for me, I think like I always knew that I was gonna smoke pot one day. Like I grew up fucking listening to Snoop Dogg and Tupac and like all that shit and Easy Air.
Every day, like in your ears, you wake up, you can just hear Nate that smoke weed every day. It's like, damn, one day I'm gonna be that.
100%. I was a little kid watching Up and Smoke tour, watching that fucking
Bro, it was fucking cool as shit, eh?
100%. And it's like once you start, like I had older cousins and shit that were already doing that shit, and it just like
felt like a matter of time.
Yeah, it was like I knew it was I knew the first chance that I got to do it, I was gonna do it.
That's crazy, man, and like that's actually dope because it's gonna sort of context. So I'll come back around and we'll talk about some other shit later, you know. But it's crazy that it was so early. But big props to your mum as well, man. I'm like, you know, we know as being parents, man. Just it's like, you know, you worry about that sort of stuff, obviously, and it does. It's when you got your own responsibilities as well to make sure that you're providing for your kid and stuff. It's not just as easy to make sure that your kids are going to be doing extracurricular shit all the time. You know what I mean? Like, and there's only so much you can do as a parent, man. So big props to your mum for trying to keep you focused as well.
Shout out, mama.
Shout out, mama. Dear mama. But then Tupac also smoke weed. So in terms of hip hop, okay, because, you know, fast forward a little bit. And what was your first, I suppose, like exposure to hip hop?
My first exposure to hip hop would be, my first exposure to hip hop wasn't even the music, really. It was
True.
My fucking my mum had the Doggy Style album.
Yep.
And like I was a little kid. I just remember I was as young as I can remember. I don't know how fucking old I was, but I remember just looking at the fucking artwork for it and just thinking, fuck, that looks like, just me as a little kid just thinking that looks mad, like. And
it was because it was like, it doesn't matter how old you are, that's still like an edgy cover.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a comic book, but it's sort of like, it's not traditional comics, it's sort of gangster.
Yeah.
Still.
It's got like the graffiti on the walls and shit like that, and it was like, that's the shit that you see.
That chick dog's asses in the air.
Yeah. That was I think it was a different one. It was the fold out one.
Yeah, because it can fold into like a mini comic, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was something like that. I know. And it was, he was dressed up in fucking, I think he had like this type of flannel on and shit. And it was like, it looked fucking mad to me. And then later on in primary school, like, you know, I always heard like the Tupac and like, because I think Ghetto Gospel came out like when I was young. Yeah. Like, and I remember that being on and all that stuff. But it wasn't really until one day I heard my mum listen to Easy Does It in the kitchen. And like, I remember listening to Easy Does It at the start where he's like, he was once a thug from a... And then like, after he goes, bitch, shut the fuck up, get the fuck out of here. I never listened to the rest of it. Like, I just used to crack up at the start of it. And then I heard my mum get past that and start listening to the actual song. And I'm like, what the fuck is this, mum? And she's like telling me what it is and shit. And like, I instantly became like a massive Eazy-E fan. And I went in the room and I wrote my first rap, like practically like that night.
What the hell? Are you serious?
Yeah, I was like 10 years old. Yeah.
Man, it's so crazy. And like when your mum like sort of schooled you on it a bit as well, like was she like educational about it? Like, because obviously, you know, as a parent, you're not going to be like, yeah, Kobie, fuck bitches, get money. You know, it's going to be more like, yo, this is what style it is. It's like, this is how it's, you know, like.
It was sort of just, when I asked her what it is, she goes, this is easier. She just said, this is what I used to listen to when I was younger. Because it was on an iPod that my friend actually stole off his older brother and gave to me. And
she found it.
She was just listening to it, yeah. So I had all of my friend's older brother's music on it, and it was all Eazy-E and shit. And yeah, she was listening to it and fucking, yeah. She just said, yeah, this is what I used to listen to when I was younger. And then I think I was very influenced from what my mum used to like. Like, I remember she used to tell me about, you know, Kid and Play, House Party.
Yeah, of course.
She was telling me about their movies and shit, and like, she's like, that's what I used to watch. So I got them, and I used to watch them like every day. Boys in the Hood, she showed me like.
Bro, this is why you are who you are. It shaped you because you're watching some classics.
Yeah, 100%. My mum put me on all that shit.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because, bro, if I turn around and say House Party and fucking Kid and Play or some shit like that, no, bro, people don't know what the fuck I'm talking about these. I feel like old, bro. It's like, oh, don't worry, it's something back in the fucking, like, 300 years ago. You know what I mean? Yeah. No, but that's sick, man. Well, fucking mad history. All right, well, then, going forward then, and then, obviously you're starting to write raps at 10. That's hectic. So... what was your first... How did that go initially? And at what age did you start to see a bit of, I don't know, like, I don't want to say it's like success, but like started getting involved in other areas of like, you know, maybe performing or rapping in front of cousins or rapping in front of like school or some shit?
Well, I used to write, and I would show, I don't even know if I was showing friends at that time, but I showed my mum. I used to show my mum. My mum used to be like, you can't be swearing, or like, she'd be like, can you just make a rap without all the swearing in it? She goes, she said I was good. She always said I was good. Like, I think she was a bit surprised of how good I was at that age. But yeah, she just always pull me up on the swearing. And like, still to this day, I see her as like my biggest critic, but my biggest fan. Like, she'll always tell me that she loves it, but then she'll find something to fucking. But yeah, I started like just doing that, and then I got into high school, and I met one of my mates, Jack Cook, and he's a year older than me, and he was rapping, and he was like the only other rapper that I knew my age in my area that was freely doing it, like out there, like doing it in front of people, and like I was like, fuck, that's hectic, like you actually showing people this. And he came like one of my influences, and like became like my best friend. And we're still good friends to this day. And we just started writing raps and putting them on Facebook and shit, just writing them in notes and putting them on Facebook.
Key styles you know?
And like
poetry, baby.
We copped mad fucking shit from everyone at school. Like, everyone was like, what the fuck are you writing? Like, what are you doing?
Tell me you still see those people out and about that were giving you shit back in the day.
That's singing my shit now? Yeah, 100%. 100%. No, it wasn't.
Coming up to you as well, hey man, I'm so glad you made it. I always believed, sorry for talking shit, but I always believed like low key.
Yeah, no, 100%. No, it wasn't until I was 14 and we recorded our first ever track. And then when people heard it recorded, like I didn't expect anyone to sort of hear it. I went to school, and like 2 days later, everyone had it on their phones at school. Like, it was like when you could Bluetooth. Like, everyone was fucking Bluetoothing it to each other, and like people was just like rapping me like my verse and shit. And I'm like, this is hectic. And it just started sort of blowing up from there. Like, it's still on YouTube to this day. I was like,
how'd you record it? Was it just
we know Heaps Decent?
Yeah.
So Heaps Decent started fucking, they recorded my first ever shit. Shantan recorded my first ever shit.
Fucking Shantan the man. We'll talk about that, homie,
Shout out
later.
Shantan.
Shout out Shantan, man. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, that's crazy then, man. So, like, what was then, like, going forward? Because then, you know, it takes a bit of momentum from there, but that's a real good leg in, because then people sort of start knowing your name. You start to get, you know, build opportunities off that, whatnot. So tell me, like, what was the first, I suppose, real time where then you had to get up and perform it, and like where I don't want to say maybe a paid gig, but the first time you felt like, yo, I'm getting respect and I'm getting put on a stage or whatever?
Fuck, I don't know, because I did a lot of shows when I was younger. Like,
was it at the Bong Olympics?
for me, I had my own Bong Olympics in the fucking
copyright Kobie Dee Monroe.
But because I've done a lot of stuff with Wave Youth and Community Services.
Yeah, true. Because you've been involved with Wave for how long?
Yeah, since I was like
little
8 years old, 8 or 9 years old. So that, like, Wave is like literally my family. Like I've known like all the workers. Yeah, they've watched me grow up, and we've got a close relationship, and so they've really helped me like throughout my whole life. I've always been involved in their programs and shit. And they got a program called Cool Kids Program, and it's like an early intervention program for kids, and they come to our schools, and they take us on after school programs. And the policy is like, if you don't go to school that day, you can't go on the programs. So like the attendance shot up like. I don't want to say the percentage because I don't know for sure, but it shot up like heaps.
Well, you would be able to just tell, because like you would tell like the difference between like, oh shit, it's gone from like hardly any kids here, but now I see a whole bunch of kids here.
100%, because we all knew that we wanted to go on them programs. And like, so we made sure we was at school, and it was like, because I was there when it first started, those programs first started. And then growing up, they didn't do the programs anymore after high school. So we sort of wanted to keep doing it. So they ended up starting another program that was called Switch Leaders, and we ended up helping out the kids in primary school transition to high school and shit like that. And then eventually, like, we started becoming ambassadors for this campaign called Justice Reinvestment. And that's about early intervention and stuff, and about instead of locking young kids up, put them into programs like Cool Kids or like programs to help kids instead of just locking them up. And fucking we went to like some of the seminars at fucking Government House, shit like that, and rapping for the Governor General. Like I was like 13, I think, rapping for the Governor General, Maroubra, like
yo, what
shit like that, like
that's crazy, man.
Yeah, it was.
And how did you feel? Like, did you not know the difference? Like, because obviously, okay, cool, you know it's a big deal because you're rapping for these people, but in terms of like knowing the difference between, you know, maybe should I be rapping in front of a different audience, or like you sort of know, did you sort of know the importance of why you're rapping for those people?
It was different because like those crowds are full of people in suits and shit. But after, like, they fucking loved us. Like it was weird. It was like the shit that I was talking at that age, like a lot of people come up and they're like, it was like they've never fucking heard someone talk about that shit, or like, I don't know, it was weird. I was just so interested.
I could understand that,
and that's what influenced me a lot to write stuff like Jody, or write stuff like what I do now, because I know there's people out there that just haven't grown up around the shit that we've been through. They don't know what the fuck we've been through, and like they don't know what's going on in our side of town. They don't know what happens in our streets. And it was like at a young age, I seen how interested, and I seen how much they actually, some of them did want to know, did want to learn about that stuff. And it just, yeah, I think that's why I've always been conscious about what I say.
Fuck, you actually sort of answered a question that I had later on, and that's really intriguing, because I was going to ask you, like, as far as your age and your writing style goes, you know, a lot of people are about to flex. A lot of people are about, you know, really, particularly at your age, bro, like, you know, like, how old are you now?
23.
23. Yeah, like, basically 20 to 25 people are really just out there for themselves. I'm not trying to write anyone off, but everyone goes through it, right? Where they're out there, they're trying to big note themselves, you know. But one thing that really stood out for you stylistically for me was that, you know, you have stories to what you say. Do you know, like, I'm not trying to, you know, oversell it either. Like, you honestly really do. And I remember, I think it was a Nookie and Friends down at Lansdowne that I went to, and that was the first time. Even Kid Leroy was down there. Remember that night?
Yeah. Snuck him in.
Hey?
We had to sneak him in.
Yeah, you definitely did. Yeah. Fucking girl was like fucking 14 or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, I remember that night, man, and it was, and I remember standing there. I already knew you were good. I was already listening to your shit. But then I think, was it Jody that you? What track did you spit that night? And I don't think you've released it.
Yeah. It's called About a Girl.
About a Girl. Okay,
yeah.
It's About a Girl then.
Yeah.
That track to me, and like you were so clear and on point, and like literally like I could just hear like you talking about multiple women that, you know, I would think of, you know, from sisters to, you know, to aunties to whatever, of all the shit that like girls sort of will go through. And bro, you were just speaking it, and like this was a night where it was like a party. There's a fucking mad crowd there. Do you know what I mean? This, that, and you definitely put on a show later and stuff like that. But to cut the audience with this fucking hectic track of like something for them to think about, I was like, yo, this is like, no one's out here, like no one's got the balls to do that. They all want to like turn up. You know what I mean? So it's crazy to hear that influence, and that it's crazy that the reaction of those guys in the suits was actually the ones that kickstarted you to be like, nah, fuck it. Like, my voice is more powerful than maybe I even think.
Yeah.
Especially when you just came off listening to Eazy-E and Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, 100%.
Snoop Dogg, shit.
Yeah.
All right, well, tell me this then, right? Like, okay, so obviously your homie you looked up to. In terms of like locals and I don't, maybe first associates, and we've spoken about this, you know, obviously, you know, when we've you know, chilled and whatnot, but you know, for other people as well, what local people were you looking up to, and maybe what local people were you associated with that really assisted you to develop as an artist and you know, grow?
Well, first and foremost, like when I was young, like the first blackfella artist that I'd ever seen was YMC. And he performed at was doing Wagga Magoo on Invasion Day. Like I would have been like, I was mad young, like heaps young. and we would do the opening ceremony in the morning, and he'd come in and he'd be rapping and stuff, and that was sort of my first glimpse in like an Australian rapper. And then growing up, MC Buns was a big like a big name in my area.
Yep.
Like a lot of us used to listen to his stuff. He's my mate's uncle, and yeah, he was like one of the only like local rappers that I knew in my area.
Yep.
But yeah, and then getting older, you know, like I started getting into the Sydney Searchers, Enter, Schemo, Sky High and stuff. And then yeah, one day I did this fucking show. I was like 16, 15, and Sky High was performing. She was performing on the same night. And I thought, fucking, no, this is my chance.
Yeah.
Fucking, I'm gonna like, she's gonna hear me rap and fucking like all this. I just made up all this shit in my head, and then I did my performance, and she just arrived just after it, like just turned up after it. I was like, fuck. I was like, I missed my chance, and then stayed, watched her perform, and cause like seeing her, like she was like Sydney Searchers were the biggest thing, like in my eyes anyway, back then, like when I was younger. Like I know there was Hilltop Hoods and stuff, but to me, like we was listening to more the
that was our local.
Yeah. Like we was listening to more of the gutter stuff, and yeah, so just to see her perform, it was crazy. And then after I thought, fuck it, I'm gonna go freestyle for her, and like I was like, I ran up and caught her outside, and I was like, fucking, can I just do a quick freestyle for you? She's like, yeah, sweet. And I was like, fuck, I sort of didn't really expect it. It sort of put me on the spot, and I look at my mate, I was like, beatbox for me. So he beatboxed, and I just spat a freestyle, just fucking whatever came to my head, and fucking she was like, yeah, mad. And she's like, everyone was like sort of there, like everyone was like,
circling up, yep.
So she's like, hit me up on Facebook, and I thought, fuck, she just brushed me.
She's passing.
Yeah, and she quickly like she cut, and then I hit her up on Facebook, and she goes, come around mine, and fucking went down hers in Glebe, and then yeah, I just started fucking recording with her, and yeah, like she really was a big help for me, a big what's the word, like inspiration for me at that time. She really she just taught me so much about music.
Sky High, I think sometimes doesn't, like, I mean those who know, but like I don't think Sky High sometimes gets enough credit.
Yeah, no way. She like still to this day, like I reckon she's one of the best in the country.
Well, straight up.
Easy.
And it's like, you know, I remember when you first would see her and they were doing those videos down in Haymarket, like in the street and shit like that, and they'd uploaded them and just freestyle and whatever. Yeah. He'd be like, fuck, this chick is crazy.
Yeah, 100%. There was just no one else at that stage that sounded like her. I was like, it's crazy.
Yeah, and not even like fucking men, women aside. It was just like, as far as the MC went, she was crazy like that, you know what I mean? 100%. So, and delivery, flow, and just like levels above even like, you know, her peers, you know, whether, you know, searches or like otherwise, it was just like, bro, what she's doing was like epic, you know 100%. What I mean? So
and she did that Poor Junkie song.
Yeah.
Like that's the storytelling shit that fucking like, and I was heaps into it like at that stage, and like I hadn't seen anyone else do that sort of stuff here in Australia as well.
Did you feel that leveled you up as well, and like just reinforced that you think, yeah, cool, like I'm sort of on the right track or like level?
Yeah, 100%. Like, cause I knew that that's what I wanted to do. I knew that I wanted to tell stories, and then when I heard that, I was like, yeah, fucking off.
So she's helping you out with the writing and stuff like that. Then as far as like the shows started going, like how did that then sort of link and then connect you to other people?
Well, it's a funny story, not funny story, but like,
oh shit, it's another bong story, isn't it?
kind of.
Oh no.
So like that stuff was happening with Sky and shit.
Yep.
And then one day I fucking some shit happened in my family, and it was like just fucking like a big time in my life, and I moved away out of Sydney. I moved to Maroubra where my dad lives. Yep. I moved there for like 3 months, and just to process some shit, and then I come back, and like I was heavy in addiction at that time. Yep. And I come back, and like a week later of living back in Sydney, I fucking like nearly OD'd on Eckies, and I was like 17, and I just stopped rapping at that stage. I started really thinking about the choices I was making, like at that stage, because I was fucking I was just fucking up. I was on the pingers like every fucking weekend. I was on the bags, and all this shit. I was like saving up my fucking lunch money from school to fucking, like get on it on the weekend and shit like that. It was getting hectic, like petty crime, fucking searching cars, like just shit, stupid shit like that we do as young cunts.
Yeah.
And then it caught up with me. I fucking nearly ID'd, and then I just started thinking like, fuck, I need to really change what I'm doing, and that's when I started boxing. I hit up my trainer Brad Hardman, and fucking we got straight into training like a week later. And at first I just wanted to train just for the fitness. I just wanted to get back to being fit. I weighed like fucking like 47 kilos. Like I was...
Jesus Christ, bro. What the fuck?
I was fucking...
Really?
I was mad skinny. I was like...
What's that weight class?
That's like flyweight, I think. Yeah, flyweight. I was fucking... Yeah, I was skinny as. And mad pothead, just fucking... Yeah, everything. And I started the boxing. I just did it for some fitness and to put on a bit of weight and shit. And then as I started progressing with it, like my trainer was like, you should fucking give it a crack. Like you should jump in and start fighting. And then, I had my first fight. I lost my first fight. I was still smoking bong. I got back into smoking bongs and shit.
Oh, yeah.
So, like,
that'll slow you up.
I was still smoking cigarettes as well. Wasn't taking it serious. And then after the first loss, I thought, fuck this. I'm getting off everything. I got off it. Stopped smoking the cigarettes for a bit. Stopped smoking bongs again. And then started training really hard. And I started just winning after that. And I ended up winning a state title, featherweight title. Moved up, I ended up winning a lightweight title, and fucking I went and fought it for the Australian titles in Cairns. That was fucking hectic, and I just kind of busted my eardrum in like the second round, and fucking I still fought on like because I fought like I wasn't wobbly or anything, but I couldn't hear out of the fucking ear. Yeah. But I still fought, and it just made me that reckless. Like I was just fucking swinging because I thought fuck I thought I lost it because I just couldn't fucking hear. Yeah. And yeah, like that went on for a few years, and then just that life just sort of started coming back. I started rapping again because everyone was like, fuck, you're good at boxing, yeah, but fuck, you need to rap. Like everyone, because everyone just knew me. I was like, at the parties and shit, I was always freestyling. Like I was that cunt. I was that guy.
You're that guy. They make memes about that guy, you know?
Yeah. I always share them because I know that was me. But like, I was just, because I knew it was like, it was sort of like I could fucking rap about anything, and I could put people's names in it, and people would be like, "What the fuck?" Like people
tripping out.
Yeah, and like I loved that. It was mad, and like that was just sort of like just me expressing myself, and like everyone just knew me as that, and everyone was just like, "Fuck, you should get back into rapping. You should like." So I thought, "Fuck it," and like literally, like I went back in Heaps Decent because that's the only place I knew to record. Yep. Went back in there, and then I recorded with Shantan again. And then
Shantan fucking sick as cunt.
Yeah, and then he was just like, I recorded Jody. Like, it was like...
True.
Recorded Jody and This Life. And he was just sort of like fuck. Like, he goes like...
So did you know Shantan before that?
Yeah. So he recorded my first ever song when I was 14.
Oh, true. So,
yeah.
Okay. So he knew what was up.
So he was saying like sort of...
He was like, yeah, your boy's back.
Yeah. Well, he seen from me rapping when I was 14 to then coming back. I think it was like... I don't even know how old. I think I was like 19 when I come back to it. Yeah. 19, 20. And then, he was just like, you should start taking this serious. And then fucking... Yeah, pretty much just from there, I put out the Prelude, and then people started hitting me up for doing more shows, and I just started meeting new people. And
was it from then that Shantan was then sort of like, because that's sort of like a bit of a question too, like for me is like, when did you and Shantan go then like, yo, let's team it up, and like Shantan can bring his stuff to the table, because he was at FBI at the time, right? No. Yes.
I'm not too sure. I think so.
I can't remember. I think he might have still been at FBI at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, did you guys then sort of go, all right, cool, we'll give it a run, and because your boys sort of bit of a handshake and let's roll, or?
Yeah, it was pretty much from the start. We was just working together. He started taking me to the studio that I record like all my songs at, and it was pretty much just straight away.
So you're talking about Bank?
The bank, yeah.
You gotta give a shout out to Fame.
Shout out to Fame. Shout out to Fame.
That place was a hole in the wall, you know, and it's got a nice little couch, and it's got the upstairs joint as well with the fucking, you know, the little balcony. Fuck, he's
I haven't seen the upstairs one yet.
Hasn't really?
No.
Well, I only seen it once. Fuck, every time I talk about it, like I feel like I'm talking about some elusive studio.
Yeah.
But one time when I caught up with Fame, it was after all these years. I actually went up there, and I was like, "Yo, fuck, this is a different one." And he's like, "Yeah, still got the other one downstairs, whatever." Like actually, like in the vault. But so many people used to go through that studio.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone that hasn't been through that studio.
I heard Iggy Azalea fucking recorded that.
Bro, I wouldn't be surprised. There used to be, you know, Monchichi, Jordan, Greg. You ever heard of him?
I think so, yeah.
Anyway, Monchichi, there was a guy, PJ, Fuzz the Boss Man, like that. They used to do this fucking crunk shit.
Yeah.
And they used to go down to this Hunter Bar joint. This is where Iggy was just fucking there every week, bro. She was down from up north, and she was just there, like, fiending for it. And that's when she first started rap, so she used to roll in there, I'm sure, with those boys. Yeah. Because they were, like, homies. You know, she was just like a little chick hanging out with everyone, you know. Yeah. I'm not saying it like that, but, you know. Anyway, off the topic of Iggy, but she was young though. It was like she was 16 down here trying to make it or something like that. You know what I mean? Like,
see, like I can't. Did you see her fucking interview with Sway? Not to get more into Iggy, but like, have you seen her interview with Sway?
I think. Oh, is that when that? All I think I know of that interview with Sway is like one guy goes, "Get this garbage off the airways."
No. I think it might be that same interview. But Sway was like, so how's a black man in Australia? And she's like she just like, oh, you know,
no.
She's like, they just put their mattresses outside and sleep under the stars. They don't like sleeping in their houses. Like, swear to God, this is like her fucking exact words. Like,
bro, she's an ignorant ass.
Yeah, it was like
young
crazy.
Woman, bro. Like, stupid.
Yeah.
Stupidity. But you know what? I think that like, it's only a matter of time until that sort of shit catches up with you. Like, your fucking lack of empathy, understanding, or fucking even just knowledge is going to be exposed, you know, the deeper you try to fucking sell yourself as a fucking fraud. So, whatever. 100%. She got what you got. Now who's talking about Iggy Azalea songs? Enough about Iggy Azalea.
Moving on.
Big shout out to Shantan.
Yeah.
Man, I wanted to talk to you something really positive about what you're doing as well, bro. It just makes me happy to see like a big movement for, you know, I don't want to just say Indigenous, you know, like the poly homies, you know, and just like brown Australia getting represented like on a scale where it's like reputable commercial music, but like with integrity. You know, none of the, you know, back in the day, like, and I'm not necessarily saying for Australian hip hop or music necessarily, but just the music game in general, like they'd sort of like try to construct how they think things should sound, and that was always coming from like a white CEO, you know. So, you know, the surgence of like independent music and, you know, the artists and creative taking back the control of what that's going to sound like, we've been able to see, you know, more pockets of what is Sydney hip hop and what is like music, be able to like come up and, you know, do what they want to do. So there's been a fucking massive, you know, Indigenous push, you know, you know, and we've got so many like Indigenous representatives, you know, out, you know, we've got, you know, Nookie, you know, bro, you got like AB Original, you know, Charles Briggs. It's like there's so much more to listen to, and coming up, you know, like you said, sort of seeing YMC and like, and sort of looking to, you know, seeing your own color right there, but that being the only shit, to now seeing like, fuck, you know what, there's a force out there, you know, we got strong, you know, black men and women on the mic representing. How does it make you feel now being part of that movement?
Well, it makes me feel like 100% grateful that I'm in the scene now. Like, and like, especially at my age too, like, cause I remember back watching my first ever live performance that I ever seen was Last Connection. Yeah. Fucking Joel and Naomi. Fucking I don't know how old I was. I think I was like 12 or something. Yeah. I was going through the city with my family, and there was we just heard all these fucking music going on. And it was like in the middle of fucking you know where the Link Cafe and stuff is?
Yeah. Martin Place.
Yeah, Martin Place. In the middle of there was just big fucking stage, and there's all kinds of like just listening to all this music. Arrested Development was there.
Yo, I think I remember that.
It was crazy, and like
that was crazy.
Yeah, and that was like my first time watching like a live performance like that, like where it's just fucking like all rappers and stuff, and then fucking and yeah, watching them perform, I was like, it just gave me like this sense of pride. I was like, yeah, fucking oath, like.
And that was relevant. That was like current at the time, and it was on the switch where it was like starting to go in a new direction.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. And like, cause the funny thing too is like Naomi. I remember back when she was with oh fuck, don't tell me I forgot the name.
What?
She was in the group with Shakaya, that's it.
Bro, I remember Shakaya, bro. You know what's crazy? Because I'm still cool with Naomi. I did a track with him.
Yeah.
When I was with Sony, and they didn't take my verse because it was not like, I don't know. They just didn't take it. Yeah. Because it wasn't like commercial enough.
Yeah.
But I submitted a full verse, bro, to get on there. I still got it at home somewhere.
Oh, so.
I should send it to her. Yeah. Funny. Yeah. Anyway, keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, no, like, cause when I was younger, I used to think every black person was Aboriginal. Like, that's just like, I used to ask my mum when I was little, and like Bow Wow, I was mad into Bow Wow when I was little.
Yeah.
And fucking I remember I just keep asking her, are they Aboriginal? And like one day, like they come on MTV or Rage. It was Rage. And fucking she just straight away she goes, oh, they're Aboriginal. And like I was like, oh yeah. And it was like my first time seeing it on TV.
Mad.
It was like, yeah, it's those moments, like it's where I see my own people like making it, like that I can just remember them so vivid because it was like
stand out.
Big moments for me. Briggs, when he fucking when AB Original performed at Splendor in the Grass, that shit to me was like fucking that's when I knew like fucking oath, like I'm gonna do that one day, like that for me, like because I was always a Briggs fan. Like I remember in school there was the Vibe magazines. We used to get him in the Corey room, and I remember just reading about him at first before hearing his music. I'm like, oh yeah, and I started checking his stuff out. I heard Wrong Brother first, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, this cunt's mad. Like, and like, cause maybe in heaps in Ice Cube and shit, I used to think that they sound like heaps like Ice Cube, and like, I started showing him to every cunt.
He had a powerful voice as well, you know, like.
And like all my mates started getting into him. Like we all started listening to him and shit, and like really looked up to him, and like that's why we going about apples. It's like it was something I always wanted to do, and like. It was like a dream come true, like doing a show with him and fucking all that. But yeah, at Splendor in the Grass, 2018, I think it was. Might have been 2018. No, 2017. Schoolboy Q performed that as well. I don't know, but like, yeah, that really changed a lot for me. I knew that. I don't know, especially hearing the crowd sing his lyrics back as well, and him waving the Corey flag. I was like, fuck, people actually listening to us. Like, people actually want to hear like black fellas like rap. People actually want to hear what black fellas have to say.
And that you would have had a little bit of experience from before, but then seeing it on that stage, you'd be like, yo, this is like the bigger version of what I want to do.
Because like, especially to me, it was like I just seen all white people singing his stuff and him waving the flag.
There's a trip though, right?
Yeah, like. Him waving the flag and them rapping the lyrics, it was like, to me, I was like, fucking off, like, yeah.
Nah, bro, I could appreciate it. You know, it's the same way, like, you know, because obviously, like, you know, in hip hop, I try to educate myself about it as well, and like, you know, I find it quite funny that, you know, this, you know, black driven musical expression, you know, it's all inclusive, but simultaneously, like, you know, the roots and where it started, but then to have such an impact on white audiences and them just like living vicariously through these lyrics and this music, etc. And for all the trotting down and the disadvantage that you have as like a young Indigenous man or you know, a young black man, and then to have you know, all of a sudden in these little pockets of times, like the roles are reversed. It's like now we're like the main voice that you're listening to. You know what I mean? So it reverses the power for that split second, which would have been crazy to see.
100%, because like it goes back to the people in the suits, like predominantly white people. Because growing up, like just knowing our history, like knowing what happened and stuff, I just always felt this just distrust for white people. Like my grandfather's white and stuff, you know. I've got white blood in me and stuff as well. Like, but like I don't know. Like growing up as a black fella, I just always just had this sort of distrust for white people. Like I never really felt like as a black fella, like people care about our voice. People care about fucking like what's going on in our communities, or people care about like what happens to our families, what happened to like our ancestors. Like I just never thought people cared. So seeing what hip hop does, like how people actually listen to us, like it just it's I always knew like it was something that I wanted to do, because just saying that it can make people listen to us
straight up, man. And I think that, you know, it's interesting, and just to touch sort of back is like, you know, the way that in which you choose, or that you've developed in terms of, I don't know, taking responsibility for your voice and like expressing yourself in a way that is fucking engaging. Do you know what I mean? And truthful. Yeah. You know what I mean? And the story type, bro. It's hectic to see, bro. So, you know, big ups on that, man. And you know, fucking sky's the limit for you, I swear to God.
Thanks, bro.
You know, you're a dad. I just wanted to, you know, touch on that, you know, like what was the impact of, you know, fatherhood, you know, and has that, and I'll talk a little bit about some other stuff later, obviously, you know, how you and I sort of, I think, connected probably a little bit more later, but, you know, what sort of positive impact has that had on, you know, your life and your creativity and your focus, bro, and just shit you got to get done?
Being a dad is fucking... It's changed my life, like 100%. You know, like not having my dad growing up, it just really made me want to be a dad myself. I wanted to give my child just what I never had, like, and I thought it was that simple. I thought it was as simple as just being there for the kid. Like I remember just thinking all I wanted from my dad was him to fucking show up once in a while. I just wanted him to be there. Yeah. And I thought it was just that simple. So when I dove into the relationship and found out that she was pregnant and stuff like that, I just I just knew, like, as long as I'm around, and like at that stage I was having an addiction as well, and like I just knew I just wanted a baby, and fucking like it wasn't planned, and it was like I kind of feel like I went into it irresponsibly. And so when she came and she was there, everything fucking like changed, and like so I realized like this is a lot more than what I thought it was. Like this isn't a fucking, like, you know what I mean? Like I really have to take responsibility for this, and me being in so much like of my addiction at the start, I ended up going into rehab when she was about 3 months old, and since then my whole life has just been dedicated to her. Like like everything I do is about her, and it's been a journey. It's been a fucking journey. Like I was on and off with my mum and stuff like that, trying to make the family thing work, and because going into rehab, I had a lot of time to reflect on the wrongs that I did and stuff like that, and I come out thinking that maybe have a second crack at this family stuff, and just didn't work out the way that we wanted it to, and so ended up fucking splitting up again, and then but recently for the past 5 months I've had my daughter full time, like living with me. And being a single parent is it's really my responsibilities have really just gone up, you know what I mean? It's
yeah, bro.
It's fucking it's really within myself. I've grown so much as a person.
And bro, you know, I even have to say, like, sorry to interject, but like, I agree, man. I've only known you for a couple of years, but I've seen so much growth. I mean, we'll talk a little bit about some other stuff quickly later, but I see so much growth in you, bro, even just in terms of like just shifting everything you do around making sure that she's okay, and you know, just the fam is, you know, doing everything in your power, and changing the stereotype, bro, of like, bro, think about it, you know, you're a young Indigenous fucking man, you know what I mean? Statistically, everyone would be like, oh, well, it's going to go this way, bro. You're changing the narrative of what a responsible young father is going to do in order to ensure the well-being of his daughter. You know what I mean? Which is fucking epic, bro. That's fucking mad props to you, G.
Yeah. No, thanks, bro. I appreciate it.
Yeah, fucking crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's inspiring as well, man. Like, I don't know if you saw, but like, you know, the other day, like, I put up a thing about bender culture and shit on my facey, and like a couple of people like went in on it, bro. And I was just sort of like just talking about how fucking bender culture is sort of whack. How we got people out. You seen that one?
Yeah,
it was just you know, it was just, and I'm not talking about having a few drinks with the boy. I'm talking about like the culture of perpetuating that like fucking abuse, which you have a mad appreciation for and whatnot.
Yeah.
And man, it was still sad to see just some lads in there just still fucking turn around and be like, nah, bro, you're a pussy and this, that. And I'm like, you haven't had a bender with me, first of all. And second of all, it's like, you know, it's like, that's exactly what I'm talking about, you know? And it's so easy to get trapped in that shit, especially at like a younger age. So for you to be of your age with your responsibility and everything else that you face with, bro, man. Big ups, man. It's fucking hectic to see.
No, thanks, bro. I really, I'm a firm believer in fucking not letting our kids grow up with the trauma that we grew up with, you know? Like, for me, drugs and alcohol have always been something that I've seen, whether it's just in my community, in the house, or if it's fucking just everywhere. Like it's always been around, and I know that fucking it's just something that I don't want to bring around my daughter. It's something that I don't want fucking my daughter to have to grow up with, to have to heal herself from fucking seeing her dad fucked up all the time. Yeah. Or like, especially knowing that, having a daughter, knowing that fucking I'm gonna influence the person that she's, you know, looks for in a man. You know what I mean? Up. So it's just it's a lot about just realizing the way that the things that I do, and like the my behaviors and all of that is being watched. All of that's fucking got, you know, like impact. It's just an impact on her, and it's like it's so much fucking work. So much work, but it's rewarding. It's rewarding.
Yeah, but bro, you know, it's straight up, you know, you're exactly right. We talk about it, it's like, yo, it's work, it's hard, but simultaneously, it's the most rewarding. You know what I mean? It's like hard work, you're going to reap those rewards, you know? Yeah. Well, then speaking on that as well, man, and just to give, I suppose, a little bit of context for, you know, the guys and girls listening, but I think that one thing that really, you know, obviously, for you young artists, and you know, I like to keep my eyes out for young artists, particularly guys who are trying to, you know, make positive impact and change in communities. So I was already sort of, I don't know, honed into what you were doing. It was sick. I don't know if I met you at an Ill-Equipped gig first, and then anyway.
Actually, I knew who you were before I met you.
Oh, true that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking hectic.
You was the first Aussie artist that I didn't even really know Aussie artists open up for overseas artists. I never knew that. And I watched, I think it was Bone Fogs. Yeah. I think, did you do Bone Fogs?
With LOC.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was
at
that.
Porden.
Yeah. So that was like
Forte did that as well, but did you see that?
Nah.
I'm pretty sure Forte was on that gig too.
Maybe. I don't know. I was pretty fucked up. I was on fucking, but yeah, I remembered you. And so yeah, I don't know where we officially met, but yeah, I knew who he was before.
I'm pretty sure it might have been Ill-Equipped, you know, and I was starting to, because Ill-Equipped's when I came back, like, so basically, you know, I had the Fit Kid shit, then I did the Lee Monroe LOC thing for a while. That was dope. Then I developed into sort of myself. Then that fizzled out, and then that's when I first started to be Lee Monroe, you know. Yeah. And when I came back out, it was after a little bit of a hard time. So I personally, you know, same sort of thing. Like I just had some fucking personal shit go on, and I had to like start self-reflecting and all this. But I was coming back out and getting really familiar with new cats, and so that's when I sort of come across you. And but one thing that really stood out to me was, you know, we hadn't known each other for hectic long, but I think I was just reaching out to you, obviously just as a, I don't know, acquaintance or homie through hip hop and a fan, and just to, you know, check in. And you had said to me, I don't know if you remember this, but you were sort of like, oh man, you knew about my whole sober thing, and you're like, oh man, actually I just wanted to, I was hoping to catch up with you because I wanted to pick your brain about a few things, whatever. And then you sort of were pretty open straight away about like, I'm, you know, this is the wall I'm hitting, and with addiction and whatnot. And I think I need to make a change. And I remember I went down on that night, and you were actually already fucked up.
Yeah, I was pretty drunk. I remember. I was at the
You do remember? Yeah, and we're down near the stairs there, and you were sort of like, you know, we just had a bit of a chat about it. But, you know, true to your word, you were still there for that conversation. And I thought to myself, fuck, man, it's pretty admirable to see this young lad who's trying to make better and have conversations with, you know, people that he sees in similar situations. But then from there, man, like obviously I've seen, again, like I said before, all this growth. And I remember doing the Black Aunts gig out Clarendon. You and Nook came out and did it with Sesk. Big shout out to Sesk and Lux and the fams. And I remember you there and you were out of rehab, I think, or out of...
Yeah, I was only fresh out of rehab.
And you're making moves to stay, you know, legit and on the straight and narrow.
Yeah.
And fuck, bro, I remember meeting one of your homies from like programs and shit. And I was like, yo, this guy's like, there's people that'll come and talk and have a conversation, but then there's people that'll hold themselves accountable to a point where they're going to a night and taking the sober homies there. And man, like, I have to say that the fucking respect levels were just sort of really went through the roof for you, you know, like, but as far as that, you know, goes in terms of, because, you know, some people can go for a long time in their life and not have that impactful change happen for them. So, you know, what was the real driving force? And it might sound a bit obvious, but what was the real driving force to you getting on the road to, you know, being in control and making sure that you got to the other side of that?
It's definitely my daughter. 100%. I don't think it could have went anyway, I don't know, but like I don't think that I would have went to rehab if it wasn't for my daughter.
Yep, straight up.
Like I grew up hating my dad, like, and I started seeing myself become my dad, and it fucked me up. Like my daughter, for the first 3 months of her life, like I was in and out. Like she'd stay at my mum's and I'd stay with her for the night, and then I wouldn't see her again for like the next 2 weeks or something like that. You know what I mean? Like it was like I'd still see her, I'd still have her overnight and stuff, and it was hard. Like she was a newborn still as well. Like she was just coming off being breastfed, and it was hard as well. But there was times like I could have made more effort to see her, and yeah, I was just sort of just dropping in, showing my face, and just sort of doing that because I was still so caught up in that life. And I never would be around her when I was intoxicated or anything like that, so it kept me away for a bit. But yeah, fucking at that 3 months, I really have to give a lot of credit to my people at Weave as well.
Yeah, you said that. We've talked about that, man.
I came to them, letting them know how deep my addiction was.
Yeah.
And yeah, they just fucking they seen it firsthand. You know what I mean? Like they fucking like I'd be on massive benders and come pick me up, and they're like, we're on our way, we're going to the detox, and I'd be like, I'm not fucking getting out of this car. Like they took me in the bus, and like I'm off my face, like Xannies, fucking everything. I've been up for like 4 days, and they're like, we're at the fucking detox, and they're trying to get me out. I'm like, if you can get me out of this fucking seat, I'll go in, but I'm not getting out of this fucking seat. And like they just like every day they'll be calling me like asking if I'm ready, and then like they'd say, okay, we'll come pick you up, and then they try and take me there and stuff like that. I'm like, nah, like I'm not fucking doing it. And then it wasn't until I come down, all the drugs are gone, and I start thinking about it. I'm like, fuck, like I really need to go, because I came to them telling them that that's what I wanted to do.
Then you look, but the first person that said, I don't want to do that shit. Fuck that shit.
Because like when I was off the drugs, like when I was coming down and shit, it's like I kept telling them like I need to go to rehab, but like I want to go to rehab. Yep. And then I'd get off my head and I'm like, fuck, I'm not going to rehab. And it was like that sort of went on for a bit, and if they didn't stay as consistent as they did with me and really stuck by me and my mum and stuff, like yeah, it's just all these things, different things came in, all worked together to me, like yeah.
One mad thing was as well, you said that like your homies were part of that, you know, obviously, you know, you grew up with the guys, you know, in Weave and stuff like that, but they jumped in. Did that make it easier, them doing it with you and sticking by you?
See, at first, when I first went into rehab, yep. I wasn't hanging around my same crew. Yeah. Oh, real? I was fucking like I was doing other shit that they wasn't doing, like, you know what I mean? Like
elevated shit,
like, and I was like, I was always the one that I was the last one up, You know what I mean? So like being with the boys,
Shit, Kobie, come on.
being with the boys,
Yeah,
and like I was just doing like just other shit, and I was start hanging with the wrong crowd, and I was just fucking just doing shit that I felt like I was fucking going backwards to when I was 16.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? Like just doing dumb shit. Like I don't know how I didn't end up in jail. I don't know how I didn't fucking die. Like it was just because there's just so much shit at that stage.
You get
in my
looked
life.
down on, my bro. People believe in him, like, yo, this guy's gotta stay straight, bro.
And like at the same time, this is when Bars of Steel just come out. You know what I mean? So like Bars of Steel came out and everyone was like fucking going crazy over Bars of Steel. So this is my first time getting noticed in the streets. I'm fucking like, people know who I am.
Yeah.
And like, that was when I was really, my career started taking off, but I was like,
Going down.
yeah. Cause like, it was
Funny how it works like that, eh?
Yeah. But it was a crazy time in my life. Like a few months before I found out that the year before I found out I was going to have a baby. Like a few months later, I found out I had a tumor in my bladder. And it was like, that was like I went straight downhill from there.
Yeah,
like,
crazy.
And then I ended up having an operation and shit. They cut a bit of it out and all that shit. And it took, because it was the Christmas period, it took a few, like 3 weeks or something for me to get the results back. So I'm like, fuck, I'm dead.
I think I remember that, actually. When was that?
This was, my daughter was born in 2018, end of 2018.
Fuck, maybe maybe.
Probably. Because it was I think it was...
It was around that time,
because
right? I think I remember you telling me that.
I think I just got out of hospital.
Yeah.
Like, but for like, it was like completely different other shit. Like, that was like after a massive bender, I ended up in hospital again. But yeah, I ended up at the fucking...
We should be laughing.
Yeah. But it's funny because I can laugh at it now. But at the time, it was pretty hectic shit. Like,
yeah, I could imagine, bro.
Yeah, it's amazing that I've made it through that shit. But like, yeah. So I started hanging out with a new crowd.
Yep.
All that shit. I went to rehab. I come out and I started chilling with the boys again and stuff like that. And the boys were sort of still in that like party lifestyle and stuff. And
they would have been happy to have Kobie Dee, the superstar, back in the crib.
Yeah.
Like, yo,
yeah. Well, it's like my friends, my real friends that I'm like real close with. Like we've grown up. We went to fucking preschool together, all the way through fucking like our families know each other like real tight. And like then like we went on this camp, all of us, like this cultural camp with Uncle Dean Kelly and Uncle Max. And we went down into the bush and Eric, and we went down into the bush down Brogo, down the south coast, and just did a lot of healing. Like went there for a week, no phone, no nothing. Fucking
that's mad, bro.
Like our water was the river. Like, that's where we drank from.
Yeah. That's
where we fucking bathed. That was like it was mad. It was and since then I haven't touched a fucking cigarette since then. Like this is back in start of September last year. I haven't touched a cigarette since. Like I stopped smoking on that camp, and it was fucking we just started this journey together, all of us, and like we've got a group chat with all of us. We've always had a group chat, but we made a new group chat with like just us that
no
went on that camp.
The pictures of the old chick, please.
Because the other one was all about drugs. Like it was like
guys, I think it's a good idea we start a new group chat. True. Back.
Yeah. Well, that's what we did. We made a new group chat and fucking we check in on each other all the time.
Mad.
It's like it's mad. Like the boys will be like, shout out to the boys if any of the boys are watching at the moment. But like we check in, we fucking like every now and then someone will be like, how are you going, boys? Like is everyone going good?
Yeah.
Shit like that. And it's like to me, it's like fucking. It's hectic.
It's man. It's good to have that support, bro. That's the sort of support you need, which is dope, man. I mean, I got to get you out of here, so I won't like hold you too long. But man, COVID last year, blessing or curse for you?
Fuck, it's hard to say, cause like I think last year was been the biggest year of my life. A lot of shit happened last year. Yeah, fuck, I don't know. It's shit. We couldn't do shows, couldn't do all that sort of stuff. But really, it didn't really affect my life. Sort of. I don't know.
You're able to maintain.
Yeah. Like I wasn't making money, like the money that I was making from shows and shit. But I don't know. Like I don't know. Not being able to shows was the biggest blow for me. But last year, it was so up and down. You know, like my grandfather passed away, and that was a big moment in my life. That really changed a lot in me as well.
Yeah.
It made me start learning a lot more about myself as well. Like I think my grandfather from my dad's side, like not growing up with him as much.
Yeah.
And just all them unanswered questions about my family and my culture and my people from up in Maroubra.
Yeah.
When he passed, I just felt this sense of like a responsibility. I have to learn more about my family, and it just sent me on this journey of discovering who I am and who my family is, and it gave me this identity and this identity within myself to pass on to my daughter, so my daughter doesn't have the same. Like I didn't have anyone to ask really about my dad's side.
Straight up.
I did, but I just never I just never felt like I could. And like now I know, like I want to learn as much as I can so that my daughter, I can just pass it on to my daughter. You know what I mean? So that happened, and then not long after I ended up getting my daughter in my full care.
Yeah.
And I got my own place. Like I got my own place, my first own place. You know what I mean?
These are big goals, bro. I don't give a shit. Like some people like never see that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's mad props.
It was like, I fucking got a two bedroom for me and her. I got my P's. I got a car. Fucking, you know what I mean? Like all these goals are just
Straight
fucking. Up. So like last year, biggest year of my life. Like
anxiety through the roof, but kicking goals at the same time.
100%. Yeah.
My man.
Yeah.
Man, looking forward to 2021 from you. I know that the COVID cloud hasn't settled completely, but you know what at the moment are you looking at seeing as being the plan? You know, have we got what releases we got coming up? Have you got, you know, LP or whatever, or EP?
Well, at the moment we've got an EP coming. Yeah. EP coming, and I'm shooting some music videos in the next few weeks. So
mad.
Yeah, so
you know you can send the pre-mixes to my inbox, right? I won't share them with anyone, I swear. Yeah?
Sweet.
The man! Right. And we still got that one from Double L. I still got to send it to Shanta.
Yeah, fucking hell. Yeah. I haven't even heard that one yet.
Well, I'll show it to you now.
Yeah,
anyway.
Sorry.
Live.
No.
Live. Someone here said, like, spit a quick 16. I was like, come on, man.
Me?
Yeah, fucking oath. Me? Like this? No pressure, bro.
Fuck.
And then, just lastly, top 3 artists you want to collaborate with. And you can get as wild as you want with that one. Top 3 artists you want to collaborate. I didn't make it 5.
Anyone?
Anyone's fucking go ham, bro.
Oh,
we want to put it like on record so people hear it. Then hopefully they get the reverse, like they reach out to you.
J. Cole.
Yeet.
Kendrick. J. Cole, Kendrick. Fuck. It'd be mad to get on track with Method Man. Like I just had to throw that one out there.
Fucking oath.
Yeah,
you know what?
Actually,
I reckon for the right price.
Meth or Nas. Nas will be fucking sick. Me and Nas share a birthday, so shout out Nas.
Oh,
if you hear this.
That's the real reason. Then.
Nah, Nas
is spitting that fire.
Nas has always been in my top 5. Like my top 5. Yeah, Nas is definitely in there.
No, he's got to be, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, beat
100%.
selection sometimes is questionable, but fuck, you can't win them all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cool, man. Any shout outs that you want to fucking knock out before you go?
I don't know. Shout out to my Way family. Shout out Marty.
Yep. I
know she's watching at the moment. I don't know. Shout out the boys. Shout out fucking Maroubra. Shout out Moray. Shout out Lapa. Shout out everyone. I don't know.
The man. You watch.
Try and get everyone in there.
You watch like people hit you up and be like, "Oh, you man, wait to give me a shout out." Cool, man. That's it from us. There's not really many like questions. I think people have been engaged, man, with what you've been talking about. So like, got some people just giving you some props, man. Kenzie saying what's up, and she's saying, you know, rooting for you. Emily's the one that's trying to get you to spit a 16. Got some feedback on Sky High. Brandon says what's up. Yeah. Tim Hammond said, fucking proud of you, cuz. So, yeah, man, getting a lot of love there, bro. So, yo,
Thanks, bro.
The man. Thank you so much for coming down, bro. Looking forward to this year and beyond. So dope as fuck to be sober. Thank you very much. Big shout out. Open source, obviously. Hit up the website as well. We'll tag it in the Insta. Ricky, love you, bro. Molotov, always being down. Hope you like the new artwork. We've got new fucking content coming as well. So make sure you fucking keep focused. And that's it. We out? We out.
Peace and love.
Yeet.